welcome back to Naughty Boy Fight Picks. I'm your co-host, relegated to co-host, Todd, and promoted to co-host, my brother, Big Matty Ray.
If you're not first, you're last.
Who's first, who's last?
Don't know.
Yeah, no, neither. Great to be back. We had some problems getting the last video up. Fucking internet in the outback, eh?
It's no good, G. But we're here, we're in the big metropolis today, here at Ring Jump at 75A, Ashley Street in Braybrook.
Yeah. It's kind of important to state, right?
It's kind of important to state, otherwise they might boot us out.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn some, probably from the best MMA striking coach getting around these parts, or a bit of Muay Thai and hang out at a pretty cool gym with a good culture, you should come check us out. The Ring Gym. Coach
Andy Colgrave.
Yep.
I'm going to show him my spinning heel kick tonight.
That's it. He taught Dan Kelly his spinning heel kick. That's one hell of an accomplishment.
Didn't Cal do a spinning kick on you yesterday?
Yeah. He looked like Billy Elliot.
So, real good response to the first video we got up. To be expected because shit is largely improved. And we're just warming up. So, climate change, shit gets hotter week by week at a terrifying rate. So this is going to be our first, well, we're not going to do a picks and predictions video. We were going to, but we kind of wanted to shift the focus. Going to do more of a preview for the card coming up. So we won't be going through every fight. We will go through the entire main card and points of interest along the way. So there may be some undercard fights we want to discuss. And then we got some segments coming up today. I guess I might as well go over them now. We got the Fuck Your Face Up segment where we pick the fighter with the most annoying face, and we haven't actually decided whether we fade that fighter or whether we pick them and find a path to victory.
We'll figure it out on the spot.
Yeah, maybe we just berate their face for 5 minutes.
I think that would be nice. I like to berate that guy's face.
Yeah, me too. And then there's obviously a quick section where I'll run through my bets for the week for the people who are that way inclined, you greedy bastards. And then the final segment is Naughtiest Boy of the Week. Obviously, an important component of the new format.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to reprimand some people.
Oh, fuck yeah. Should we get into, before beginning, Matty, should we respond to some of these comments?
Yeah, I think we should respond to the comments. You know, there's just burning a hole in my in my conscience.
So I will read the comment.
Yeah.
As I have the laptop in front of me.
Sure.
And do you want to respond first?
I'll have a retort.
Okay. So H. Hassan says, I'm glad you got your brother on board. You work well together and your brother knows his shit. What do you say to that?
Well, H. Hassan, I do know my shit and I appreciate the moral support. And I'm also glad that my brother got his brother on board and we will continue to work well together and in harmony and in unison in all components of our relationship. So thank you very much, H. Hassan.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thanks for the positive
feedback.
Brother. Yeah. Hickson says, love the new format, which is generous because I don't know how formatted we were, but we are getting more formatted, so I appreciate that. What up, Bay? Good username.
What up, Bay? That is nice.
Yeah,
one.
Says, gutted for the Aussie brothers, Ty and Tyson were both so close, but the OGs came through. Can't teach experience.
Can't teach experience, and I think we did have a chat we had a chat about this on the previous podcast. I was also gutted because it was their show, essentially, and you know, everyone, all their boys were there, and you know, the whole crowd was behind them. But you know, they'll have their time. They'll have their time to shine. What up, B?
And I think the cool thing about that, whilst disappointing, the guys they lost to, JDS and Shogun,
yeah, man,
you can't ever really be mad at those guys winning. They're just such nice dudes that you have to respect.
Yep.
Like,
hard out, man. They lost to legends, man.
Yeah, it could have been way worse. Imagine losing to Justin Willis.
Yeah, pretty stink. Let's not go back down that rabbit hole.
No. Not true. Sports fan, which is a good username.
Yeah, I'm also a sports fan.
Do you reckon you like sports?
Big fan.
He says it's true. It does suck to get rid of the 125ers, but it's replaced with 165 and moving 171, or if it's replaced with 165 and moving 170 to 175, then that's a fair trade for fans. Personally, I'd have both, and I would axe women's 135 and 145 divisions. No need for those chick divisions. They simply aren't good and not UFC level.
Jeepers.
There's a lot to unpack there.
We still haven't got any sponsors on board, so we might just skirt around the axing of the women's division for now. And I also want to see a 165 division, but in regards to the little guys, there has been some fights booked for next year, so that we noted this morning. I'm dubious as to whether that's going to be that is going to be removed, and especially when you've got showings like we had on the weekend with like Kakara France and Garcia as well. Like Garcia, I'd like to see fight again, and guys knocking each other down and putting on big shows.
I think this idea too that if you axe the 125 and get the 165, it doesn't really make sense to me, because if you make a 165, 175, the roster's the same. And there's still the same amount of fight cards to fill out. And as everyone well knows, there's often like some pretty lackluster matchups put on the cards. So if it doesn't change the roster, does that really mean we're going to get, like, I don't see the benefit there of having axing 125 in favor of, I'm in favor of adding 165, but I don't think you need to axe 125 to do it.
No, I'm a fan of that division. I always have been, and like I said on the last podcast, I think it might be more down to the fact that it's more of a purist division. People who really enjoy the contest for the skill and technical aspect. Yeah,
and I think in regards to women's 135 and 145. 135 has been good in the past. It's thin at the moment. But I mean, at the moment, out of those divisions, we're getting a Nunes-Cyborg matchup, which is fun as fuck. And whilst divisionally speaking, there's not a lot going on, like, what do we essentially want is good fights. So I don't think you necessarily need to get rid of them. Maybe give them some time and see if they grow. And
I think probably where sports fans coming from is that division is real top heavy. So you've got like some real talent at the top, and then as you start to get down, like even when you kind of get out of the top 7, the talent drops way off. But I think you have to have. You have to have a division, and you have to have a pinnacle of the sport for people to, mature into that type of talent to then start thickening out that division. I think that has to be there. You have to have something to shoot for, and that's not Invictus. That's a breeding ground for these type of people, and I think over time, over the next couple of years, you'll see it mature, but it probably just takes some patience to, on our behalf and sports fans' behalf, to actually kind of see that realised.
Well, by that logic though of like the divisions being top heavy, then you'd have to axe light heavyweight. This like who's the guy? Is it Ignagulov or whatever, who on debut lost to JDS? He's had one UFC fight. He entered the top 15 of the heavyweight division this week. 0-1 in the UFC.
Yeah, damn man. If you're looking to get into the UFC and you're around that, that weight class, you'd be happy that you got big bones.
Yeah, shit, yeah, that's wild.
Good comment, thank you.
Yeah, so that's it for comments this week. Obviously, get to us if you want you got topics you want us to discuss or debate, or you just want to say fuck your mum to us. You only have to say it once too, because we've got different mums. Got to say it twice. So.
From the same pair of balls,
or specify who you're saying it to. Yeah. So that wraps up comments. Let's get into this card, Matty. It's a pretty fucking fun one.
It's a great card. We're having a little squiz there last night, and we're pretty excited about it. Yeah. I'm not excited about not actually being able to watch it live, because I'm a dickhead who makes like commitments that I have to fulfill on Sunday
afternoons.
No
one listening feels sorry for you.
No,
if you're like wanting some sympathy in the comments.
Well, do they feel sorry for me that I'm sitting on the casting couch and it hasn't been sterilised for 3 months?
It's not?
It hasn't been sterilised.
Okay. All right, let's rip into this card. the first matchup of the main card, I believe this shit's always confusing and hard to figure out because it will say many different things in many different places. But we do believe it is number 3 ranked Claudia Gadelha versus number 11 ranked Nina Ansaroff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that Claudia is going to take this to a decision. I think she's far too good for Ansaroff, and she's going to strike on her. She's going to strike initially. She's going to smash her up against the cage. She's going to take her down, and she's going to like showcase that she's a couple of tiers above Ansaroff in this fight.
Yeah, you go back to when Joanna had that air about her of being unbeatable, and Gadelha pushed her to pretty, as far as we've seen her stretch. Like, they were close fights up until the points where Gadelha started to gas a bit.
Yeah.
But up until those points, she kept those fights competitive in the striking even with Joanna.
Yes.
Like, Joanna's obviously the better striker, but Gadelha could compete with her.
Yeah,
she could land some bombs. So, yeah, I think, once again, talking about the top of these divisions, you're looking at a few people, and Gadelha is one of them. Hasn't quite got to she's had the title shots, but she hasn't got over that hump. But, yeah, she's right up there, and I just don't think Ansaroff is there. She's the tier below. Good fighter. Obviously, she must get some good rounds in with Amanda. But, yeah, I think there's going to be too much for her. I was wondering if Gadelha might get a finish here, but I don't think so. It'll be a decision.
It'll be a decision. Ansaroff's got good takedown defense from memory. And that's why I'm kind of coming at the hypothesis that Claudia will come forward and strike initially, then bang her up on the cage, and then work her takedowns off the cage.
Yeah.
I don't see her shooting out in open space. I don't think she needs to either.
No.
Like you aforementioned, she'll outclass her in the striking, and this is a bit of a no-brainer for me, this fight. Yeah. But I do want to see it. I do want to see this fight.
Gadelha is she's happy to strike with Joanna. Yep. She's definitely happy to strike with Ansaroff.
Sure.
Although she did get a little pieced up by, what's her name? The first Carla Esparza.
Yeah.
But she had something, she said she had an injury.
Yeah, something good funny going on in that fight.
Yeah, I believe so. So, Claudia Gadelha by decision, first fight of the night. Next fight of the night, we have Jimi Manuwa, number 7th ranked light heavyweight. Feels like he hasn't won a fight in ages. And new to light heavyweight, number 15 ranked Thiago Santos. Before we talk about this fight, Maheta gets a lot of flack for his chest tattoo. I like it.
I like it.
It's a big fucking sledgehammer.
It's a big sledgehammer. From a distance, it can look like a big set of balls with a big-ass elongated shaft.
It's thin, long guy.
Thin and long. Good for going around corners. But, yeah, I like it. I like it. And who am I to criticise?
Man,
I'll be the biggest hypocrite of all time.
True that. But of all the tattoos you could criticise in the UFC, I don't know why people are going after Maheta.
Yeah.
His nickname's the Sledgehammer, I assume, in Portuguese.
So it's appropriate.
He's big. And he's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the fight?
Well, it's not going the distance.
Nah.
This fight ain't going the distance. In my opinion, this fight isn't going the distance. And I'm picking that Thiago Santos at light heavyweight is going to knock out Jimi Manuwa.
He looked pretty good last out, his first light heavyweight fight, but that was against another middleweight going up, Eric Anders.
Yeah.
And I got some serious questions about Eric Anders. He looked like he died in that fight also. At the very end of it, but I like Thiago, man. He's a crazy person. He's a wild man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he may, like, with that crazy shit he does, just winging punches from like miles away, and the kicks. I think he might like catch Jimmy with a head kick at some point, or several head kicks. Depends how Jimmy's chin is.
Do you know the crazy thing about Jimi Manuwa is, and you'd think if you thought of the two, that Santos would probably come with a reach advantage, but I'd suggest that he probably doesn't, and that Manuwa's got a pretty long ass reach on him. So
he does.
And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Manuwa approaches this fight. But I'd imagine that both of them would be quite content just to let the hands and the feet do the talking.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really excited about this. I reckon this is a strong contender for fight of the night, which we'll get onto a bit later.
Indeed. If there is any grappling, you'd have to give a pretty serious advantage to Thiago, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I imagine these guys are going to stand and bang. And obviously, Jimmy has a questionable chin, so...
Yeah.
Well, Thiago's been knocked out.
Man, at this lightweight, with dudes who hit this hard, like, anyone can get knocked out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going Thiago second round knockout.
Second round.
I'm picking them to get out of the first somehow. Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next fight of the night. We're at 145, and we have unranked fighters, but in the main card, I believe, because they're both pretty exciting. We've got Hakeem Dawodu coming up against Kyle Bochniak. Bochniak obviously coming off that crazy fight with Zabit, where he was like pretty outmatched, but just fucking hearty, man. Mm-hmm. And then Hakeem Dawodu entered the UFC, got dropped by that some fucking, was he a Scotsman or some shit? Got dropped and standing guillotined in about 40 seconds. Then came back in his second fight and looked really, really good. Real nice Muay Thai style. Opens up and just like takes guys' legs, like kind of starts pretty slowly, and that sort of game where you just kind of slowly dismantle your opponent, it looks like to me.
Sure.
And I don't know, I find this matchup really, really interesting because I think Bochniak's got some smarts and a smart team behind him.
Yeah.
And he may be able to come with something that is going to fuck Hakeem's whole night up.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest, like for some reason these guys have kind of slipped under my radar. I remember the Zabit fight, and I'm a massive Zabit fan and reckon he's just a riddle that no one's quite ready to be able to solve yet. Especially, you know, guys coming up with, you know, just over 10 fights on their record. Yeah, so I haven't got too much kind of expertise to kind of weigh in with this one. But I've had a quick look at their stats, and I think, you know, in terms of empirical data, that looks on paper like an interesting fight. And then remembering what I saw in the Zabit fight, like that's, excitement personified. So looking forward to it too.
Yeah, so I had a good look at this morning, and what I saw, so looking at Dawodu first, really compact. He's fast as fuck. Like I said, he opens up with the leg kicks, looks to break down his opponent gradually. Once he gets in a rhythm, he starts like putting his combos together, which are real. Like, it reminded me of Brad Riddell.
Yeah.
So you know the like 3-4 punch combo with the hands, and then like
slide
the
it
heavy
on an angle,
and then the heavy leg kick or body kick, and just put together really fucking nicely. Like, you know, when you see a guy and you're like, oh, you've done that 10 million times.
Yeah. Shout out to Brad Quake Riddell and Eugene Barrowman.
Yeah. So yeah, really reminded me of that. And so watching Bochniak, he hadn't done it prior. I don't think we'd seen it prior, but he came in against Brandon Davis, and he was using a lot of movement, circling on the outside and then darting in and landing hooks. And as opposed to a lot of guys that use that kind of game plan, he was landing his shots. Yeah. So when he'd get in, he was making it count. So, you know, often it's quite frustrating to watch someone fighting that style because they'll be doing it. Their opponent's not able to catch them, but they're not like really getting their opponent when they move in either. Yeah. But he was really fucking good at it. I think a big part of that was he was mixing up takedowns with the striking, which made either or effective, had the opponent guessing. Real nice timing on his takedown, like sublime. Like every takedown he shot, like he didn't necessarily get them, but they were just timed so well, so he would get in on them. And then he was able to chain takedowns. He had a real sneaky back take. I saw him like go for the back take a couple times on Davis. And so for this matchup in that fight, what I saw him do was pretty much fucking everything except stand and stance and trade shots, which is exactly what you don't want to do with Hakeem Dawodu. So I'm thinking Bochniak may be able to frustrate Dawodu with that style. And what the fuck? Where my knocks go?
Sounds like a good fight. Sounds like something that I want. Yeah, I want to watch that. I like it. Yeah, it sounds like they're a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I wouldn't be surprised. I've got a play on Bochniak for this fight, and he's a pretty heavy underdog. I got him probably by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he finds Dawodu's back at some point. Didn't really get to see Dawodu's wrestling defense or submission defense. I mean, that one where he got subbed, it was because he was rocked.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
We shall see.
All right. Next fight of the night.
Ooh, Oliveira.
Yeah, so...
Gunnar Nelson.
What the fuck is my laptop?
I'm really looking forward to, the Cowboy Oliveira versus Gunnar Nelson. I saw a picture of Gunnar Nelson the other day, and he's been on some, reindeer steaks or some shit out on the Slavic, fucking wherever he's from. The Icelandic, Slavic stew. Because he's looking ripped, man. And Oliveira always comes in great shape. Both really good grapplers. Oliveira's got a pretty gnarly little guillotine. Gunnar Nelson's got an interesting brand of grappling. And then coupled with his unorthodox kind of brand of striking, I think this is going to be a really fun fight. I think it's a really hard fight to call. I struggle to see which way this one's going to go. I would imagine that this one might be another fight that goes to decision and goes the distance. And given how fit Gunnar looks, he might come home and sneak and threaten in the third round. Oliveira has faded due to his high work rate and slightly wild kind of brand of fighting at times.
He's kind of like Maheta. He's just like nuts. Like, what are you doing? Just crazy shit.
Yeah, but he can go the distance too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's an exciting fight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, Gunnar Nelson. I was like, I think I kind of favor Cowboy in this fight. And then at sparring the other night, this fucking massive Norseman beat the fucking piss out of me, like just behind where we're sitting right now. And now I'm maybe like changing my opinion because those Norsemen are on some shit.
Yeah. Well, they're not raping or pillaging. They're just beating the shit out of the Williams brothers down at
just
Ring Jump 75A, Ashley Street and Braybrook.
My whole forehead is bruised, like... usually there'll be like an isolated bruise. It's just the whole thing is bruised.
That's because they use the hammer first.
Yeah. But so looking at this fight a bit, I was kind of like, fuck, I can't really pick this one. Gunnar's a reasonably sized favorite. But, man, let's take it. And I did this morning. I was like, fucking Cowboy Oliveira's record is sick. So going back to the beginning of his UFC career, he came in, lost to Gilbert Burns, won 3 fights against guys who I don't know who the fuck they are, then lost to Cowboy Cerrone, and since then, one win, and then
big wins too. Tim Means, Will Brooks,
Ryan LaFleur. Then he had that loss to Yancey. Then he beat Condit, and then in his last fight, just smoked Carlos
Guillotine Condit after punching him up a little bit.
Yeah. So, and I'm wondering how the grappling's going to look at this because Oliveira, did he used to fight at lightweight? I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he used to cut a ton of weight to get to lightweight, which might be. Was he a lightweight? He was. Yeah, and that might have been one of the reasons that he was kind of gassing in the third. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm really excited about this one.
Who was your pick?
My pick was Oliveira by decision.
I've got. Do I even have it written down here? I must do. No, apparently I don't. Oh, no. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Oliveira, and I think he might knock Gunnar out.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna go Oliveira by KO, which brings us to the co-main event of the evening. This is a fun one. We got
Dang.
number 1 ranked Valentina Shevchenko versus... How are they both number 1 ranked? I guess because this division doesn't really have a history.
Yeah, it doesn't.
According to the website, they're both number 1 ranked. Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Obviously, I went back and watched their Muay Thai fight, some highlights from them, and they're in headgear and shit. And I was like,
it's a long time ago, man.
Yeah, I can't read anything into this fight from this. You got to look at what they've been doing recently. So,
sure. I like this really excites me. I love that they're both they're arguably 2 of the best strikers in the entirety of the UFC in terms of credentials.
Yeah.
At the same time, their styles are both quite unique. You know, you're orthodox to southpaw for a start. Shevchenko likes to sit and counter. Joanna likes to come in and out, and when you've got that style matchup with southpaw and orthodox, it always makes for an exciting fight. But at the same time, Johanna's really good at drawing an attack out, and sneaking backwards, and she can head kick off the switch traveling backwards, which is just insane. Think John Jones knocking out DC. That's that kick, which is incredibly hard to do. I reckon that there's kind of at stake here is, you know, a little bit of an ego, who's the best striker in women's MMA, and that we're going to see a kickboxing fight. Both of them can grapple. Jędrzejczyk is incredible at scrambling and counter wrestling. I don't think they're even going to bother to take it there. And over 3 rounds, it's a 3-round fight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over 3 rounds, I reckon we'll get some fireworks, like non-stop action.
I know, because it's a title fight.
It's a title fight, so it's 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Man, they can both go all day.
Yeah.
They can both go all day.
I was thinking about this fight this morning, and I was like, because I've been, without thinking about it too hard, I've just kind of been leaning Valentina. And then thinking about it this morning, I was like, if this does go to decision, which you'd be like pretty inclined to believe, Joanna has way more volume than Valentina, and she'll be able to maintain way more volume, I imagine, going up a division too. So, does Valentina need a finish to win this fight?
Well, see, I had picked Valentina because I hadn't looked too deep into, the fight, and I hadn't considered that was a title fight, and I thought over 3 rounds Valentina would get the money, but Johanna is so good, as you're saying, and chipping away over 5 rounds, and she has had so many 5-round fights. She knows what the fuck she's doing, and knows how to kind of undulate through a cadence in terms of her striking and volume. I think over 5 rounds, decision, Johanna.
So what I'm thinking, so my next train of thought off of that was, well, in that case, I think Valentina needs to find a way to implement size and strength in this fight, and that's probably in the clinch. In fact, obviously, like, Joanna's got a good clinch game, but then thinking about Valentina, she's like held her own in the clinch with women the size of fucking Holly Holm.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to go Valentina. I think she may be able to impose her size on Joanna in some positions. But I think she does need to, and I'm interested to see what the power looks like. Obviously, Joanna got knocked out by Rose. She's been dropped by other people. Who dropped her at 115? Did Claudia drop her off a jab or something? Someone did.
Yeah, shit. But that was the type of jab that you run into, and it's not like a concussive injury. Right, it's something else.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I'm interested to see if Valentina's got, because if she's going to win a decision in a Muay Thai match, she's going to need to give Joanna pause about attacking. So. And being offensive, so she's going to have to hit her with something heavy, and
like
fairly,
a chair.
or a gun. So she's going to have to hit her with something pretty fucking heavy to keep her at bay and not let it turn into a fucking Joanna Jędrzejczyk points fest. Yeah.
But she's used to a firefight, like she got in a shootout and in a cafe in Peru, so I'm sure she won't shy away from it.
Very exciting though. Possible consequences of this fight. Joanna losing what happens then? She won't stay. She'll go back to 115, right?
Well, she's not. Yeah, she'll go back to 115. She's not due. She's not. Through this, she's not going to earn another crack at the title. Like that belongs to somebody else. I think Tatiana might be the fight, and I if that's the case, I don't think that's a good fight for Johanna either. So it's really interesting to see what will happen there. I think the Rose. The Rose might have to defend her title first against whoever the
Andrade,
whoever the comer be, and then that might then dictate what happens next, what the next play is.
I guess it's not too grim a situation because I think I fancy Andrade versus Rose.
Yep.
And if Andrade gets the title, Joanna's like, "Yo, I beat her."
Yeah, sure.
I was watching that the other day, and it's just like, fuck. Andrade looks so scary recently, and then that fight against Joanna. I guess it's a testament to Styles making the fight, right?
If they fight again, Johanna will piece her up again. That's you can't get through on just raw brute strength with Johanna. It doesn't work.
Yeah. All right. Now, trepidatiously moving on.
Touch wood.
To the main event of the night. Champion Max Blessed Holloway taking on beautiful man Brian T. City Ortega, #1 ranked contender. We've been waiting for this fight for what feels like for fucking ever now.
Yeah.
And praying to some sort of fucking higher being that I don't believe in. We get it this Sunday.
Man, I do too. And like Holloway's had 4 of his last 5 bouts cancelled. Not all due to things that are happening in his own camp, but fuck, that guy looks gaunt when he cuts weight. And, having experienced this firsthand and then, having seen some of the boys and, people I've worked with, cut huge amounts of weight time and time again and then get punched in the head, it does take a toll, and it doesn't get easier, it gets harder, which makes me worried. Well, fingers crossed it happens because it is a great fight to have happen.
Yeah, I think so. Coming up to this fight the first time, look at what's Max's streak. It's like 12 fucking fights or something.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah,
like he hasn't lost since he lost that fight to Conor McGregor when he was 20 years old. Just
7-2 or something. Man.
Yeah, just beginning in his UFC career as a fucking kid, and getting out grappled by Conor McGregor. And since then, just been on this fucking streak. And I was beginning to, always thinking about who is the pound for pound best. And I was starting to think, fuck, maybe Max Holloway's the pound for best.
It's a real argument for it.
Yeah, and if not, he's not far away from being considered it, which is what makes this fucking terrifying, what has gone on with him recently. It's man, if this dude's career kind of either takes a massive slide from here because of his health concerns, or if he's just not the same fighter again, that's going to be a fucking terrible shame because he's incredible. Having said that, I like Brian T. City as a champ.
You got a big old dirty man crush on Brian Ortega.
I fucking love him, dude. He's I don't know, he's doing your favorite word, philanthropic stuff.
Yeah. With a capital F, eh?
Yeah, capital F. And he's just, I don't know, he's fucking cool. In terms of the matchup, so I guess this week what we're going to be doing is closely looking at Max Holloway interviews and shit, looking for any... I saw someone saying something on Twitter this morning that he looked fucked up still, so it's a scary week for Max Holloway and Max Holloway fans, or just fucking MMA fans, because everyone wants to see this fight. Assuming that Max Holloway is the best Max Holloway, he's peak Max Holloway coming into this fight, do you fancy him over?
I fancy Holloway to go to a decision. Yeah, decision win if he's healthy. And the thing about Holloway is if he gets through that weight cut, he comes and he brings it, man. I think that's the test for him. The test isn't then whether the hard weight cut's going to affect him in the fight. Undoubtedly it will, but that's been the case for his last 15 in terms of his showing over the last however many wins. You got to remember he did all those weight cuts for that, and it hasn't hindered his performance in any way. Decision Holloway.
All right. I'm thinking I'm gonna go the other way, which is weird because for months leading up to this fight, I've been like, Holloway's too good. You can't pick against him. His game is so rounded. Like Ortega's striking has just been starting to come along, and it seems real premature to pick him in this fight, given that. But he knocked Frankie Edgar the fuck out, and Frankie Edgar's never been knocked out. And T-City's so tough, so we've seen him like eat shots, and he's just a fucking monster. And then he just keeps pulling off these impossible finishes in fights. Like, he's always losing the fight, and then he wins the fight. So he's losing the fight until he wins it every single time. And taking into consideration that there's all this shit going on with Max, I'm going to pick Ortega to hurt him, jump on him, and sub him in the third round.
Hey, wow, that's specific.
Yeah.
Man, like Frankie Aldo, right? What happened in their contest, where and those two combinations of, and they fought on the feet. Then think about Holloway, Aldo, and what Holloway did to Aldo, and then translate that now and compare that to the Ortega fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thought process.
Yeah, what Holloway did to Aldo twice, so nasty.
Yeah, his last two fights.
And so his game, he kind of begins really good, and then he starts building on the game, right? It's like, I got this idea, this picture of it in my head of like building something, and you're just adding pieces as you go along, and and that's like those wins against Aldo where it just, Holloway's game is going, and Aldo's game is like linear, and then Holloway's game just fucking completely swallows his opponent's game.
So you have to get loud up in here. I think some people are about to come and slap pads.
Bloody hell, we're not even finished. So that's the picks for that's the main card preview. Next segment of the podcast is the Fuck Your Face Up segment. Cue music. Maddie, who has the most annoying face on this fight card?
Well told, Lawrence. That'll be Theodoro. Big jerk.
The Spartan. Fucking good fight name, eh?
A.K.A. the ring boy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that guy. That's a stupid face.
I'm trying to look at, it's pretty fucking annoying. So there's a bit of contention over this because I have a supreme dislike for the face of Chad the Disciple. Chad the Disciple Laprice. And in combination with his wanking on about God after fights, I'm not really down with that. Apologies to the believers out there, but I can't really stomach that. But I think you got to give it to Theodoro. He's a smug-looking motherfucker, and I think he's gonna win his fight. And I hate to say it, but I bet money on him.
And he bet my dad, Dan Kelly, in like probably one of the worst decisions in UFC history if you're emotionally invested in a fight. Man, there was a whole houseload of ugly, butthole-faced looking Canadians in the Australia versus Canada UFC Ultimate Fighter.
There was.
Just all butthole faces.
Laprice and Theodoro are both in there, right?
Yeah, bro, roommates.
Fucking
butthole face.
Their faces have like combined to form some ungodly, annoying face force that encroaches upon my life frequently.
They look like a butt with like buttholes one above the other, just so you can just shit on your own asshole. That's their kind of face.
I pray to everything ungodly that these two are never put on the same fight card again. So when I look at the fight card, I gotta fucking see both their stupid smug grills staring at me.
Bastards.
And I think they're both going to win their fights, which sucks even more. I faded Laprice in his last fight, and he got knocked the fuck out. So that was beautiful, but it ain't happening this time.
There's some form of insect on the camera.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Oh, I'm going to remove it.
Okay, good. So...
Australia.
Yeah, that's this week's Fuck Your Face Up segment. Moving right along. Maddie, do you have a potential fight of the night you're looking at for UFC 231, Vancouver, Canada?
I think there's a couple contenders for it, but I
What you
think
going
I've
with?
kind of landed on the Johanna Valentina fight now. I reckon that's got some real potential, especially over 5 rounds. I reckon it's going to be non-stop action, and there will be blood.
A high volume.
High flow.
Yeah.
Flow rate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what I decided on, but I think it's hard to go past the main event because that's just such high-level shit, assuming Holloway comes in feeling healthy. But I'm really intrigued by Duarte versus Bokniak. I think that's going to be fun, no matter what way it goes. Yeah, 2 really kind of exciting guys, and whatever way that pans out, I think it should be fun.
Sure.
Excellent. All right. What do we got here? Anything else of interest on that undercard?
The old butthole face. Fuck your face. Laprise versus Lima. I think that's an intriguing fight, and I'd suggest that Lima's probably a heavy underdog for that fight.
He is a big underdog.
I don't know. I love watching that guy fight, and I think their styles make for some interesting viewing. That's most intriguing to me on that undercard.
I think you're going to hate it when Laprise knocks Lima out, like within the first half of the first round.
Okay. I'm no longer intrigued.
OAM versus Gilbert Burns could be fun.
Yeah.
And Alexander Rakic. I'm really looking forward to seeing him again. He's fighting Devin Clark. So he's a kickboxer from somewhere in fucking Europe because they love that shit. And he came out in his first fight.
It's cold and they're all depressed.
Yeah. He came out in his first fight, right? And he had this beautiful kickboxing style. And he just kind of like cooked his opponent the same way like Izzy, Dan Hooker, the city kickboxing dudes do.
Sure.
So, and I was like, his next fight coming up, he was fighting Justin Ledet, and I was talking to Kai of France, and I was like, oh bro, have you seen this dude? I feel like he fights similar to your guy's gym.
Yeah.
And Kai's like, oh no, I'll check him out. Comes out, takedown, ground and pound for the whole 3 rounds, and decisions this guy with grappling, which upset me a great deal, but I won money also, so that was cool. But I'd done this prediction. I was like talking about his kickboxing, how he's going to beat this guy in the feet, and then he just fucking wrestled him. But great to know that he has both aspects of the game down. And against Devin Clark, I'm not sure. I obviously have no clue what Alexander Rakic is going to do game plan wise. So this one, I'm just going to sit back, watch, and enjoy, and hopefully see, because he'll be 3-0 after this, and he could be an exciting prospect. So
Hello.
yeah.
Hello. I went to fist bump, you left me hanging,
Oh,
so I had to mask it. Hello.
That's good, eh? That works for me.
Coach Colgrave. Anne, hello.
Hello. What we got next, Matty? Oh, my bets for this week. So Matt can just have a cigar here if he likes, or he can tell me that
Take it up.
Tell me that I'm gonna go broke. What do we got here? So I got the I think I went 5 units on fuck ass Theodoro, paying $1.90. I did indeed. Then I got 2.5 units on Carl Bokniak, paying $2.59. Parlays, we got Claudia Gadelha parlayed with Kevin Lee for the next event. Got Rakic, Gadelha, and Shevchenko parlayed. Got Bokniak and Santos parlayed. Got Fajeda and Theodoro parlayed. Fuck, it kills me to say that. And got Laprise and Santos parlayed. That also kills me. What am I doing with my life? This is horrible. That's my bets for the night. Good luck to you. I hope you win many amounts of gold bullion, Spanish gold bullion, preferably.
The best kind.
You like those bets, Matty?
I like those bets.
Okay.
I do.
Good.
I think you've done remarkably.
I'm on a 3-event streak.
Yep.
So I'm saving up for...
Rent.
Yeah. Yeah, rent. I gotta get some more big bag of coffee. This brings us to our final segment of the week, which is the newly introduced Naughtiest Boy of the Week over here at Naughty Boy Fighters. We love Naughty Boys, and this is Matt's genius idea, and I'm really pleased with it. So do you want to announce this week's Naughtiest Boy of the Week, Matt?
Sure. Thanks, Todd. Thank you for the introduction.
Camera A, if you will.
This week's Naughty Boy was an easy decision because probably the best judge of the character of a naughty boy would be that man's own mother. We'll just take you to have a quick look at this screenshot that Israel Adesanya posted, which was a message from his mum. What did my son say when he was watching the UFC the other day and saw Israel Adesanya drinking out of a shoe, Todd?
So I was watching the fights with my nephew, which is great pleasure because he hardly does any climbing over me like a jungle gym and making weird noises, singing songs and shit. But he happened to be watching the TV for once, and we see Israel Adesanya in the crowd doing a shoey out of it. Was it a red van?
It was a pair of red Vans.
I was kind of surprised he wears Vans.
Decent vessel.
Yeah, good vessel.
Watertight.
I had him pegged more as a
sneaker.
Yeah, but
there you go, Vans.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe that's something to ask him about when we get him on the show.
Regardless, naughty because unhygienic.
Horrible.
Yeah. Poor responsibility around the consumption of alcohol as a role model. And B, his mother was really upset.
Oh, the nephew. I didn't say what he said. So the nephew's like, Uncle Todd, why is he drinking water out of his shoe? That's disgusting. And then he looks at me and is like, is that disgusting? I was like, yes, Marley, it is disgusting. As Israel's mother thought so too, right?
That's some fine uncling right there. You've got a sensitive stomach.
Yeah. You have a sensitive stomach. Such a motherly thing to say.
Yeah.
It's a pretty adorable way, I think.
Naughty Boy of the Week, Israel Adesanya.
Easily. So we'll present him with an award. We don't know what it is yet. Oh, maybe we could give him a little Naughty Boy patch.
Send him a Naughty Boy patch in the mail.
I will send him one. Don't know his address.
Oh, well.
We can get it to him. So that wraps up this week's show. We'll be back with a recap on Sunday whenever we get done watching the fucking fights because Matt's booked in work for Sunday once again. You know the last fight he booked in work for? What was it? Wasn't a
Conor McGregor versus Habib.
Not even a big one, eh?
Just a little fight.
I reckon if you're going to pick any cards where you'd want to book work on the day of the fight, it's probably Conor McGregor versus Habib and then Max Holloway versus Ortega, the ones you want to pick.
Yeah, fucking jerk.
All right, thanks for joining us. Leave some comments. Get at me on Twitter or Instagram or through the email. Send us a really long, elaborate email about a topic you'd like to discuss. We need to have a conversation about penises. So get at us. We'd love to discuss your thoughts on the show, and we'll be back with that recap. Thank you.